You're listening to Rewatch Culture, the podcast where we circle back and talk about our favorite Black TV shows that raised us, healed us, and angered us in many ways, but they are always going to live rent-free in our minds. I'm your host, Shanaye, your resident elder millennial and professional rewatcher. Let's get into it. Hi, y'all. It's your favorite internet cousin, and we are back to discuss A Different World Season 1. Today, we're covering episodes 19 through 21. And there was a lot going on and nothing at all at the same time. But let's get into it. Episode 19. First of all, Denise and Maggie are planning a whole trip to Greece. Okay? Greece, out of the country. And Denise has not told her parents, which are the people who would actually be paying for her little international adventure. Make it make sense. The math is not mathing. So Denise, we've been saying she's flighty. Everybody knows this. Even her parents know this. Well, she is supposed to pick up her mother, Claire, from the airport, and she's late. And of course, she has excuses because that is what Miss Denise does. She has an excuse, honey. She gives excuses like she breathes. But Claire comes to the dorm and she meets Lady Bostic. Lady Bostic accidentally lets the secret slip about this trip. And Denise tries to justify it by saying Greece is one of the cheapest places in Europe. That's why I chose it for you guys. Girl, that is not at all the flex that you thought it was. Try again. Claire Huxtable. First off, I love Claire Huxtable. Gorgeous, educated, and she was no nonsense. You remember that episode? She had to get Vanessa in check because Vanessa snuck out of the house and she wanted to be all cute and got drunk. Yeah, Claire don't play. But Claire lets Denise know she will be getting a summer job and contributing to her education because she's been playing around for the last 2 years. This girl has been at this school for 2 years and has not decided a major. Her grades are mid at best, and Denise is not a dumb girl at all. She just is kind of like floating off in every direction. And Denise was pissing me off. She was giving entitled brat the way that she was sulking around the campus, sulking around at dinner. She was acting like her parents threw her away. Absolutely not. Your mother told you to get a job. And then Denise tried to go around her mom and call her dad. Claire already knew what it was, and she told Rudy to intercept and not give her dad the phone because Mr. Huxtable, those girls had him wrapped around their fingers, and he would have given in. So Rudy ran interference. Rudy is so cute. She's like, tell Dwayne hi, and especially Whitley, because, she left her time up at Hillman that episode that she came. But Denise just didn't understand. How are you upset that your parents are telling you to get a job and fund your education and they're not going to send you on an international trip when your grades are garbage? Like, you don't deserve that. If you were maybe a straight A student, maybe they would have said, you know what? You've been knocking this out. We'd love to plan this trip for you because you're doing amazing, like as a gift. Her mom was correct. You're not going anywhere unless you plan on taking the subway. What's wild to me is that Denise has never had a job up until this point. My father ran a strict program, so he required us when we were 16 years old, you either work or you played a sport. And let me tell you this, I played soccer for a season, never again, and I got a job immediately after. Like, run me my coin, please. And I've always been a hustler ever since. Also going on in this episode, it is Miss Whitley's birthday. So she's running down her plans with Millie, and Millie asks if Ronald can come. And Whitley hits her with the snootiest line and says, did Ronald come with us last year? Peak Whitley energy. She spends this whole episode thinking everybody forgot her birthday. And near the end of the episode, she comes down to the pit. She's out on that little back porch area, and she has a cupcake and she lights it and she's singing happy birthday to herself. It's the most pitiful happy birthday I've ever heard in my life. She looks so sad, but then everybody surprises her in the end and they sing to her and they bring her. I couldn't tell what it was. I thought it was a tray of cupcakes with like lights on them, but they made her feel good. And I get it. I am a big birthday girl myself. You deserve to feel special at least one day a year. Let it be your birthday. But in general, I hope you feel special more than just that one day a year. Everybody deserves to feel like there's some light, there's some energy, there's something special about them. You've got to find joy in the everyday little things. But that's what we've got for episode 19. Episode 20, the semester is wrapping up. Everybody's packing up their dorms. And Dwayne is finally ready to ask Denise out. But of course, he's scared. As we've seen, Dwayne has got no game. He hides behind this machoism and corniness. But deep down, he's shivering in his underpants. Ron gives him solid advice. He says, actually tell her how you feel, because right now, all you've done is just tell her that she's fine, which you say to everybody. She doesn't feel special. She just feels like another flower in your field, and you've got to let her know that that's not the case. Dwayne takes that advice, and he asks her out, and she says yes. He's so shocked that he kind of loses his momentum and doesn't ask the girl what time. So Denise is like, what time? And he's like, 5 or 6 or 7. And Denise has to set the time. So she says, how about 7:30? He's like a kid in a candy store. It's so adorable. He's so giddy just going out of the library. He actually says at one moment, he screams in the library, she said yes. So shout out to Dwayne. I was happy it went well for him. But then he blows all his money on a new outfit and ends up with $5 to his name. Whitley, who's down and out because she had applied for this internship for Couture magazine and she didn't get it. So she's just down in the dumps. Maggie is having a yard sale at the dorm. Dwayne actually comes up and tries to sell his boombox to her for $40. So he can get enough money to take Denise out for the date because he already has a reservation at this place called Paradise. Whitley gives him the $40, gives him money for the date, and he's so surprised. And she says, well, somebody should get something they want. And my gosh, Dwayne Wayne, never knowing when to shut up, he says, I don't care what anybody says. You are a human being. Dwayne, you could have kept that one in the chamber. You didn't need to tell her that. But what ends up happening is Denise and Dwayne go out on their date. They're getting settled in. They're pouring each other tea. And the next thing you know, Whitley comes in and crashes the date. But honestly, it ended up being so sweet. She ends up crying on Dwayne's shoulder, and he gives her real advice about going home for the summer. She needs to talk to her mom, which I guess it brings me back to that a few episodes ago when we thought that she made that phone call to her mom about her needing to live her own life and do things that work for her. This episode makes me feel like that phone call did not happen. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. So date is done, and Denise and Dwayne are walking back to the campus. And they're sitting there talking, and Dwayne pulls out a poem that he's written for Denise. It's a little love poem, and he reads it to her. Well, she starts reading it, and then she asks him to finish reading it to her. And baby, what he was saying sounded good, honey. Dwayne was talking that talk. Denise was impressed, and so was I. The episode ends with them dancing on the porch. It was giving very cutesy, very mindful, very demure. Episode 20, y'all. Now, we're getting into episode 21. And first off, shut the front door. Stevie is here. And not only is Stevie here, she is in the resident hall room where Lady Bostic has been. We haven't seen Miss Stevie since she ran off to get married in episode 9. This lets me know that this episode is absolutely out of order. But honestly, it doesn't matter because season 1 has zero continuity anyway, so it's fine. We're just rolling with it. In this episode, Dwayne and Maggie have egg babies they have to keep alive for a class, which I never had to do that, thank God. I remember my younger brother actually had a baby, like a toy baby that he had to bring home. And that thing would wail and cry all the time. Ugh, hated it. But Jaleesa is supposed to watch Maggie's egg, but loses it while she's helping Denise. So they run upstairs and they see Whitley putting eggs on her face, as a part of her nighttime routine. And they think maybe she's got the egg, but no. Maggie is spiraling, okay? She is down in the dumps. She has put up flyers to try and find this blue baby egg named Artie. Jaleesa and Denise try to be really good friends and dye eggs blue to make Maggie feel like they found her egg son. Their heart was absolutely in the right place. Maggie immediately knows that that is not Artie. And they're like, what do you mean? And she's like, a mother knows. So she's spiraling. First off, also, let's bring up Dwayne Wayne. In the beginning of the episode, he is throwing his baby girl around in the air, throwing her like a frisbee, not a care in the world. And then all of a sudden there's a shift and he's got this like egg protector for her and he's Mr. Father now. So that was cute to see. And of course, we can't go an episode where he doesn't talk about Denise. So he tells Maggie to let Denise know that he would be a great father. And Denise says, I already have a father. I did love that. But as Maggie is still spiraling and she's looking for little Artie, she runs into Stevie. And Stevie gives her sound advice. Stevie really is the voice of reason this episode. And she steps in with this line and says, motherhood is not a course you can get an A in. And honestly, that is my quote for these 3 episodes because it's true. I feel like there's so many people out there who are trying to be the best parents that they can be. And when something goes wrong, they just beat themselves up. We're human. Okay, we are going to make mistakes. That's just the nature of the game. As long as you're out here trying to do the best that you can by your child and loving them unconditionally and keeping them as safe as you can keep them, that is what really matters. All right. So she reassures Maggie that nobody is perfect. And the cutest thing is they eventually find Artie and it is in JT's room wrapped up in his glove, which is full circle because JT actually picked the name Artie for Maggie's son. But they find him and all is right in the world again. All is right at Hillman with this episode. That is not in the correct order. But that is our latest 3 episodes. We have 1 episode left in season 1. So next week is going to be the season 1 finale. And I'm going to wrap up this season by doing a full season recap just to tie everything together. We're tying the chaos we saw, the character growth, the nostalgia, of course, and the moments that we love and the moments that we didn't love. But that's what I've got for y'all. Thanks for tuning in as always. Bye, Internet cousins. And before you dip, go ahead and leave a rating and review. It really helps me grow. And it costs absolutely nothing to show your girl a little bit of love. For more nostalgia and chaos between episodes, though, which, reminder, drop every Sunday, follow at Rewatch Culture Pod on all your socials. Thanks for joining me today.